What in the name of holy leverage is all of this, and what are we doing today? So what we got is this that goes here on the window. It's hard to see, but that goes on that window to latch, and it's broke. So today we're gonna see if we can have any success at getting this apart. That'll be a good one. We've come a long way on this car in the last month, and we're down to a lot of just little nitty gritty dirt bands. No, details. That's it. Nitty gritty details to get things done. Now, I could just slap a daub of silicone on these windows and forget about it, and I might, but I've had a day today. I've had one of those days where you just want to just slam your head on the table for 2 or 3 hours. So I thought rather than do that, I would do something constructive, because if I broke the table, I'd have to fix it. So anyway, today on My Car Shop here, we are going to work on seeing if we can get those knobs apart and come up with a solution for our vent wing windows. Little tedious details that I love sharing with you guys. I'm Mike, and as I said, this is My Car Shop. So the first thing we need to do is pound this pin out here. I already soaked this one with Croil, so we'll hopefully be able to get out. We may have to do some machine work to drill down in there and get an easy out. I don't know. We're going to try some stuff is what I'm saying. So I was able to get our little pin out, and I tried moving that around in there a little bit, and it's not. I think the thing to do is drill it and try a screw extractor. So I'm wondering if I should put that in the mill or the drill press. Probably the mill. I would have a little bit more control. It's pretty small, so take a little setup, but maybe worth it. There we go. Got it fixtured up. It's pretty well centered. I suppose I could use a center drill to get it started, but close enough. You know, it's just, I'm only doing it in the mill because it's easier than trying to do it in the drill press. It's a lot more rigid. I could do it by hand. So, you know, this isn't like this has to be a mill. You can do it any way you want. But I'm just trying to get it drilled out so that we can just get an easy out in there and see if we can get that thing loose. We may have to machine it all the way out, but I'd like to get it out and see what it actually looks like. So there we go. Nice hole drilled. I didn't try to get perfect. And it did blow through, so I'm really happy about that. That unit blew through there. And so we can get our easy out now. We'll try tapping it in there and seeing if we can get that to turn at all. All right, so I've got that drilled out. I'll show you in a minute. And I also went through and drilled out the rivets down in here to take this out, because I have a pretty idea how this works now. It does look like maybe that was screwed in there at one time, but the screw is so rotted out that I don't know. We'll take a look at that, but we've got options. And what I did on the, I did, wherever I put it. There it is over there. Sorry, let's walk over here. What I did on this was I ended up drilling it out big, because what I'm going to do is just invent my own kind of way to make this work, because I don't want to spend the money, because, you know, around here we're cheap. So I will spin up a part on the lathe, not on this like that, but I'll spin up a part on the lathe that'll have a slot for that pin to go through. And then over on this, it will replace that part there. And then this will go over it, and you'll put the pin on it, and that'll be in place. We're just going to have to get the depth of it right so that we know exactly, you know, so it's got enough tension here to hold the window shut. Get a dimension on this depth here from there to there, so we kind of got an idea where that goes. I think there's supposed to be a springy washer in there now that I think about it, but I have to go to the hardware store and see if I can find one. So I may not be able to finish this project right now, but I'll be well on my way is the point here. So I'll figure out how that's in there. So again, I got it shoved on there as far as it's going, as far as I want to put it. I'm just taking the Scribe Tool, making a mark around there so I got an idea. And then here, so I got an idea of where that goes. Did I make any marks? Nope, it didn't work. Try again, Sam. I may have to use something a little bit heavier. We have something a little heavier. That doesn't reach. That doesn't reach. So, okay, we gotta, don't really want to use a marker. Boy, that is one hard bolt. All right, our proof of concept is there, but this is really hard. This must be a grade 8, which I guess it's gold. I should have realized that. But we put this on there. Our pin goes through, and it holds really hard. So that does the nice job that we want it to do. And our depth from this edge to that edge is about right. So, wait a minute. No, I did that wrong. Yeah, I did that wrong because it's in here that we got to have that depth. So, but I think we'll be okay. I think we're in the ballpark. We're proof of concept anyway. So I got to decide how I'm going to attach this to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Stuff. There's what we've got. So now I've got to weld this in and then find out if this is going to work. But I'm going to get the lever part and put it on here. This is just rough. But this metal is so hard. I may have to make it again with soft metal. But at least I'm pushing through for proof of concept. But I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but I don't care as long as it works. I think it's going to work. If I have to, oops, we'll throw that part on the floor, and that'll be really nice. If I have to, we can open that slot up a little more this way to allow some more cushion in there, and if we need to put a waffle spring in there, we can. So I got to make a trip to the hardware store, so this won't be a one-day project. I'm going to keep this going as one episode, so we'll see you in a day or 3.
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
Well, here we are in day 2, and I dug around the shop, and I found that I had a piece of softer, like cold rolled 3/8 rod. So that's what I'm using to remake that other part that I made out of that bolt. This was just way too hard to deal with. I was ending up having to grind it, and it just wasn't working to advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and get this machined up and make a duplicate of the one we made yesterday, and we'll go from there. I had to make a bunch of service calls today, so I ran up to the hardware store and got some rivets to put that bracket back into the vent wing frame for the car. So hopefully at the end of this session, we have a functional vent wing handle. We'll see. So the last one I made pretty well by hand. This one I'm going to go ahead and do in the mill. So I'll show you the difference. You can do this by hand. I got this machine. Why not use it, right? So I need to take from about 3/8 of an inch, which is 0.375, down to about 200 thousandths of an inch. So we got to take in about 175. About 75 thousandths, 80 thousandths per side, off the top of my head. I don't know what my depth has got to be yet, but I did make this extra deep. So I've got it zeroed right now, so we can fire this up and then take little passes to make the slot that goes here. This is what we're making, so that we can put that into here and asphyxiate's a big word like gymnasium, asphyxiate it to the channel piece for the car. All right, let's do it. 120. I'll be taking too much at once, but it'll work. The depth looks pretty good, I think. Let's go to 140. Wrong way, Feldman. Yeah, sorry, 14, not 140. Okay, we've taken 20 so far now. Can't take too much because it's not as fixed or as fixed. It's not in there real good, is what I'm saying. That's what I was afraid of. I just don't have a good purchase on it. Probably some better fixturing would help. So now we're done to the fun little bit of the file fit. I can only go so far on the machine with my inability to fixture it, so I decided to just not get too carried away and do a little file fit here. So it's just a matter of working at it until it drops into my little piece here. I could press it in there now, so we're getting close, which a little press fit's fine. Think we'll get in. Yep, we're in. We're in like Flynn. Perfect. And we dropped our part. All right, let me show you what it looks like. I ended up crushing it a little bit in the vise, but not this vise, but the mill vise, because I couldn't get it to clamp. But now our little backside slips right in that little hole. So we're pretty good. I got to straighten this bracket out because it's bent a little. It's from me hammering on it, and then we've got enough engagement there now. I don't think it's going to bother the window, but even still, we can take our TIG and go bzz, 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 around in there and weld that up, or maybe we'll put it in the press and try to mush it. I don't know. We'll do something. Okay, so here's what we got. I got this so it fits in there nicely, like so. This fits on there nicely. Our pin's going to go through, and that's moving. So let's go take it over to the car and see if it's a reasonable facsimile of what we need. Our stack up there is good. It's going to hinge okay. It's going to pull that window in as long as I can get that to stay in there. So I think we're close. We have a little room to tweak here if we need to, etc. But I think we've accomplished what we're setting out to do here. So again, this goes down in here, gets riveted, which I bought the rivets today. This pin sits in here like so. So I think our next step is to get the pin as fixed. That's a big word like gymnasium. But to get that pin as fixed to to this little piece here. Just spent a fair bit of time in the buff, cleaning that up. Could use a little more work on that, but not bad. Yeah, it's got a lot of, doesn't look as bad in real life as it does in the camera. There we go, that's a little better. It smudges all over it. Anyway, turned out pretty good. I got the pin through it real quick just to see how that is. So now we got to go over to the car and get it riveted into the window frame. And what I bought was these little split rivets like this. I'm hoping these are going to do the job and be strong enough. We'll go see. What's in there like a ragu? I wasn't sure split rivets were going to be the best option, but I got them in there. It does tend to hit a little bit right there, but it is what it is. You know, it could be that that's just a little whatever, but I probably won't use these a lot anyway because they flop around. I didn't bother tightening them up, but point is, it holds it nice. So we're going to put the glass back in real quick, just like it was before, with just a little bit of RTV just to hold it in place, and just check our design here and make sure that everything is copacetic and not so pathetic, but it's working. And it even pulls the glass up nice and tight now. So I like that. The only thing that doesn't work is this little release, because of the way I had to mangle this, because the aluminum inside was just gone. You know how aluminum gets. But we've definitely salvaged this. And I did not drive the pin in permanently, so if we want to pull that apart and give it a little lubrication. The other thing is this can be bent a little bit here if it needs to be to tighten that window up. I'm really not sure why it's hitting like that, but I guess it is what it is. I said I probably won't use these windows anyway, but I still like the idea of them. So there we go. Glass is back in. I got smudgies on my glass. Cleaning glass. I hate it. Oh, it's got a little zoots out there. Okay, well, we'll get that off in a minute. Yep, needs a razor blade. But anyway, we just lift this up, and it opens beautifully, and it closes beautifully. I can live with that. Everything gets so dirty. Anywho, I love it. It works. I did bend this up just a little bit to give me a little bit of room, a little clearance, but most likely these windows will stay shut, so I'm okay with that. I like it. I like it. I can live with it. So we got to make one for the other side. I have a different kind of latch. I have one like this that's broke, and I have another one that's a straight up and down one. So I'm hoping I can like take two and make one out of them, and it may not look perfect, but we'll see. Um, yeah, we're definitely not sealing the way we should back here. That's okay. You know, it's more about looks than function anyway, but this was the only way I could think to do this without buying the whole assembly. What did this cost me? $1 for 4, and I only used 2, so technically 50 cents of those split rivets. The split rivets were a bit of a pain in the butt to get in there, but I was able to get them in there and get a drift down in there, hold a piece of steel underneath, and tap them flat so they're good and solid. So I think we're good to go. So that's going to do it for this episode. The very first prototype of this that we made was out of a grade 8 bolt, and it was too hard. We didn't do any machining really on that except on the lathe to try to cut the slot. It was hard steel. I remembered I had a piece of 3/8 inch rod, so we made another one just like it on the lathe to cut the slot, and then also on the mill to machine it down to get that little D thing to fit into the little bracket here. I did that on the other one with a grinder, so everything I did you could do by hand. It's just finickier. I figure I got this big piece of equipment here, why not use it? So, but again, trying to keep it in reach of, if you don't have a lathe and a mill, can you do this kind of thing? Yeah, you can. You could cut that little slot with a drill and a hacksaw and a file and other things. You could cut the flats to put it into this with a file and a grinder like I did on the first one. I welded that up and ground it down flat. I was extremely careful to be sure there was no little blobs or burrs of weld, because we didn't want to break the glass like we did on the Oakland, because I missed one, if you remember. So my expensive screw up there. So anyway, that'll do it for this one. I appreciate you being here, and we will catch you on the next one. This was fun. I'm going to wait for a little while to do the other one till I figure out the handle thing, so there'll be an episode coming on that. Plus, I want to wait just a little while because I want to make sure that this one doesn't give me like this. I come out here one day and this is laying on the floor or something. So, all right. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next one. Rock!